Huge changes happening in the residential real estate industry right now. If you have any plans to ever buy or sell property again, this is going to affect you. So I want to make sure I give you a firm understanding on what's going on and what it means to you. The National Association of Realtors just settled a major lawsuit that's going to impact the way buyers' agents' compensation is negotiated. So in order to explain to you what's changing, I want to first go back and reiterate the way things were before the settlement. Okay, so in the past, when you got ready to hire an agent to help you sell your house, you would meet with that realtor and they would talk about all the things that they could do to help you get the house sold, what they think it would sell for, and also what they would charge in terms of their compensation for getting your house sold. Most times that agent, which we'll call the listing agent, the person who's helping you sell the house, would recommend sharing the compensation with a buyer's agent in exchange for the buyer's agent bringing a qualified buyer to buy the house. So both sides of agent commissions were negotiated between the seller and the listing agent. So once that buyer's agent compensation amount was determined, it was then entered into a database shared by realtors called the MLS. So I would go in and type up, I'm listing 123 Pine Street. Buyer's agent who brings us a qualified buyer will be paid 2.5% compensation on the sale. Okay, so then from the buyer's perspective, a buyer is hiring an agent to help them connect with a lender, find a house, negotiate terms, all those good things that the buyer's agent does. And it was fairly rare for the buyer's agent commission to be negotiated because that commission was already paid for by the seller and determined in the MLS. And the reason it was structured that way was really to help more buyers be able to buy homes. So having that buyer's agent compensation sort of baked into the sales price meant that the buyer didn't have to come up with extra cash to pay their agent on closing day on top of the cost of the house. So having it part of the purchase and taken from the seller's proceeds actually allowed the buyer to finance the buyer's agent compensation as part of the sales price for the home. Okay, now that the lawsuit has been settled, two major things have changed. Number one, that buyer's agent compensation amount can no longer be listed in the MLS. There's no predetermined buyer's agent amount. Number two, a buyer's agent cannot show a house without a contractual agreement saying that the buyer has hired that agent to help them buy the house. So two major changes that have happened, and it's going to have a lot of different ramifications, but we're just starting to see them. So when a buyer hires an agent, they're going to have to sit down with them for a consultation before they go and look at homes. And during that time, the buyer's agent will say, hey, here's what I'll do for you to help you buy this house, and here's what I charge. So the buyer's agent compensation will be negotiated between the buyer and the buyer's agent. Buyer's agent is still going to go back to the seller and try and get that amount covered for their client. But the buyer understands that if that doesn't happen, that they will be paying their agent. Okay, so the goal of this settlement is really just to create more transparency in the industry and to give buyers a chance to negotiate what they're paying their agent. So it's really created for the consumer to have more power and more ability to hire who they want to hire and pay what they want to pay. For us, it's an opportunity to differentiate ourselves on value and to show that we're worth what you're paying us, to really protect you and to protect your interests as you buy or sell real estate. There's a lot of chatter about this settlement, a lot of press coverage, a lot of confusing, conflicting messages. Bottom line is it's designed for transparency. It could be a very good thing. My concerns with this, I have three concerns with the settlement and how it may impact consumers. First is that buyers may end up just hiring a buyer's agent who says, like, I'll do this for you for next to nothing. So if a buyer just picks up the cheapest agent they can find, they're going to get what they pay for. And I think it's going to leave a lot of consumers frustrated and blinded when they realize that they made big mistakes when purchasing their home. Second concern I have is that buyers may decide that they want to save that whole 3% on the home and not hire an agent at all. If that is the case and a buyer elects to work directly with the listing agent, you got to remember that the listing agent is hired to get the best possible deal for the seller. So they are going to do everything they can to help the seller make the most money, get the best deal, walk away scot-free. So that leaves consumers very much unprotected. It is not a place I would recommend ever being if you're buying a house. Third concern would be potential affordability issues. So remember, in the past, we had it structured to where the buyer was essentially financing their agent compensation. Now we're all negotiating, which maybe it won't change much, but if there's an instance where the seller refuses to negotiate that, then the buyer may not be able to come out with that money out of pocket to buy the house they want. It could make buying a house less affordable and more difficult for more people. So bottom line, the home buying process just got a little bit more complicated. It is more important than ever that you find a buyer's agent who knows what they're doing, has experience in the industry, and has the integrity to take care of you when you make potentially the largest purchase of your life. So that's the high points on the lawsuit. If you have any questions or would like to talk further about it, I would love to have a conversation and get more in depth than we can in this quick video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.